A linear gradient is a transition of colors. Like you see here, there's like this very light orange to the light purple on the right. And we call this a linear gradient because it's moving in a linear manner. We're going to learn how to do this with CSS. So this is an example from webgradients.com. If you go to that website, it has a large, a large kind of library of examples of CSS code to make gradients. We're going to write our own gradient. I just wanted to start with this to show you that there are some resources online to get ideas. So let's switch here. I have here in CodePen, I made a simple div with HTML, and you see the CSS. Oh man, I wasn't supposed to have this. Blech. Let's do this again. A linear gradient is a transition of colors. So here you see, for example, this yellow that has a gradient going all the way to this light orange color. We use this in CSS if we want as a background, either for the entire page or for a div. This example is from webgradients.com, which has kind of a library of different gradients, and they even give you the CSS for each one to copy and paste in your code. So we're not going to do that. We're going to go and make our own container and put a background on it. So here in CodePen, I started this simple div, HTML div. If you don't put CSS, you won't see anything yet. And then in the CSS for this div, we gave it a width and a height, and then a background of purple just as a starter. We call this a solid color because it's not really a gradient, it's just one color. So let's see, how can I make this into a gradient? I want to go from purple, let's say, to a tone of blue. So what I would do is, instead of just saying background and putting a color, I would do something like this. It's good to keep the solid color one before, by the way, as a fallback plan, just in case someone's browser is very old. But in modern browsers, linear gradients are fully supported. So you would write background, linear gradient, and then you'd write to and put the direction. What's the first color? What's the second color? So far, nothing worked because I put these in caps so that you know we have to put the actual value. So let's say linear gradients 2. If I wanted it to go to the right, then I'd say 2 and then the word right instead of direction. It could be top, bottom, left. And then color 1, for example, let's keep it as purple. And then the second color, let's see, if I just put blue, you could see, wow, look at that. There's our transition. It's going to the right from purple to blue. If instead of right, for example, I said to bottom, look at that. It's going from the top to the bottom. Okay, let me bring that back to right. The nice thing about CodePen, right away it updates here in the preview. All right, so let's see, if I wanted, instead of the word blue, I could even use hexadecimal values. For example, 011E7A. You wouldn't know these, from the top of your head. I have it written down, but there's a lot of resources online to get hexadecimal values of colors. And let's see, if I even want to put another color, I could always put a comma and add more colors. For example, F02277. Of course, it's hexadecimal. You always put the hashtag, and it gives you that hot pink. So that's how you make a linear gradient with CSS. Good luck with that, and if you use it in a nice example, it would be great if you share that in class someday with your instructor.